Going live, going live, going live, going live. Going live, going live. Pika, vamp. Pika, vamp. Do something. Okay, going live, going live. It just, just in case the ads are running, because the ads are running on their own or something like that. I have no idea what's going on. It's time for the Comics Talk. It is the geeky chill stream you've been looking for here at the Comics Talk with Reverend Sully. That's right, ordained on the internet half a lifetime ago. I'm a spiritual dude. I take it seriously. It can help your life too. This is your dojo for tactical and practical spirituality, the kind that can really help your life. And it starts with gratitude. And I can help you with that. Tune in. We got a playlist for that. You can rub some of that unguent on that hurt little part of your body. Do it. I have one of a cannabis. I get one from my cannabis store. It's like a muscle rub. It's actually really good and really helpful. Yeah. And how are you doing? Welcome. It's time for the Comics Talk here at Reverend Sully Station, your dojo for tactical and practical spirituality. We do cooking videos as well. Few and far between. I know. I get it though, but it is what it is. Sometimes it's hard to I have a cycle menu. It's called a cycle menu. So Monday's Monday, Tuesday's Tuesday. I've already covered everything I cook at work. And it's been, I did that. I've been done. D-U-N, done. Got asked a really interesting question on Twitter just about now. Okay, vampire fans. What vampire would you want to turn you? And I said this. Darla. Darla from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All right. And Angel. Let's not forget about Angel. Got the box set unopened. Haven't opened her yet. Got Angel's box set, complete set unopened. They're out of print. So I don't think there's a Blu-ray for Buffy. And this is this. I know there's some kind of remaster that kind of really fucked with the original, shot on film stuff. I think it was. And so there's a version of this, the original a DVD version that is superior to to the remix or whatever it was. This is all 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One of the best shows ever. But Darla, yeah, I would want her to turn me into a vampire. Why? Because the Master made Darla, and I have the biggest crush on Mercedes. I was going to say Julie Benz. I'm going to call her Mercedes Benz. Julie Benz is the actress that plays Darla. She's beautiful. And yeah, I almost said Drusilla. Okay, but Darla and Drew were you could probably maybe just get the two. Maybe I should have showed the two of them. You know what I mean? Because there's a gift for that too. But if it came down to one, I would choose Darla over Drew, just because. Well, there's a chain of custody here. Even the weakening of the blood over time. Okay, so Darla was made by the Master himself. Was turned by the Master himself. Darla turned Angel Liam, into Angelus, the angel-faced one. And it was Angel who made Spike. And then it was Spike who made Drew? Is that how it went? And, it's been a while. It's a good reason to go back and rewatch everything. Let's catch up with the chat here. Hello, Lane Kramer. Good to see you. Hello, James. How are you today? If I do a stream plug today at 6:30 p.m., I will be on Hot Toys Hotline streams. If you collect Hot Toys 1/6 scales, it will be on to talk about Star Wars May the 4th announcements. Yes, I don't mind plugging the stream at all. You got a link for that. Drop, you know what I mean? You got a link for that? Lane also says he had not read Blood Hunt #1. You put your foot in your mouth yesterday. You have a #1 coming from Mr. Yule. You're not the only one, Bubba. I got a local comic book shop inside of my mailbox. It lives inside my mailbox. It's a local comic book shop. It's called Fantastic Comics, and their purveyor, Yule Carter, in Berkeley, California. You can make arrangements with this individual and pay him American monies or things that translate into American monies and get some comic books sent to your home. I've gotten, this is like my 4th purchase from Fantastic Comics, and it gets better and better. I mean, he's great. It's always gets here within a week. Always been satisfied with my purchases so far. We're going to show them off. We will show them off a little later, near the end of the show, when we're just showing off new comic books. Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love that show. I really do. Oh, it's time for a rewatch. Every single night, the same arrangement. I go out and fight the fight. Do. Thanks for noticing. She ain't got that swing. I'm for the wonderful foes who make trading blows, but lately we can tell that I've been going through the motions. Do. Nothing seems to penetrate my heart. How can I repay? Whatever. I love the musical episode. It's just so well done. That's peak Whedon. Is Joss Whedon a 4-letter word? Is Joss a 4-letter word? Joss, not Josh Sweden, but Joss Whedon, a 3rd-generation television person. His father was in this Hollywood business, and his grandfather was too. And hey, Bone, what up? Howdy, folks. Good to see you. And you're in Florida, right, Bone? And oh gosh, don't worry. I'm going to talk about Moon Knight 5. What a fucking stinker! Did I just ruin my monetization by dropping? No, it was in 5. It's at minute 8. Okay. I don't know when the ads will kick in. I don't care. They're just going to kick in, and they'll kick it. And a big, very big congratulations to my buddy of the fellowship in our local fandom of the New England Rebellion Detachment, the NERD. She's moved down to Florida to be with her beau, and he bent his knee and proposed, and she accepted. Dr. Rachel Lindbergh, congratulations on your engagement. Thank you for being. I've made a group of great friends so late in life, and we were all geeky, and we cosplay, and we all hang out in cons together. And I got so many pictures of just hanging out with Rachel at different cons and cosplay. It's like one of the best things ever to hang with other cosplay friends. Macklin made it. Brightest Day, the Gilk man, Thomas Gilkey is out there too. Marcus, Brian Buchanan, the whole crew, D-Day Direwolf, and the Pope. Wow! Hey, Al, happy birthday! Everyone in the chat, say happy birthday to Al. Woo! to another trip around the sun. Huzzah! Seriously, I like huzzah. And yeah, wet that whistle. Let's wet that whistle. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to like make we're going to have a few pauses during the show where you're just going to see the icon and we'll be on mute like that. Because, you know, I already feel the urge to pee. I really do. And so in about 20 minutes, it's going to be unbearable. You know what I mean? And I'm going to just be like, oh, I'm doing the pee-pee dance. I'm doing the pee-pee dance. Jeez, there are people out there on the internet that can see us. I don't know why you write this stuff down. You know, I'm just the talent. I do, and I read whatever the executive producer writes down, and the copious amounts of show notes that we have for this show. We'll be back in just a second. Who dares wins? That's what the SAS would say, the Special Air Service of the British, you know, paratroopers, the special, what? Yeah, and I know, I had to, you know, nature calls. Seriously. There's only so many times as a professional YouTuber, you can pee in a bottle. And when the bathroom's right there and it's open, you know, sometimes you outgrow that as a YouTuber. Just go to the bathroom. Just come on, you're a human. You're gonna be, you know, everyone does. Gee. Ooh, was it the one with the tears of the Pokemon? It always got me going. When I was a little Irishman, I had a very small shillelagh. And then I grew up to be a bigger Irishman. And I, of course, had a bigger shillelagh. That's right. We will be talking about Free Comic Book Day. We've got some free comic books. We're going to be talking all about them. We've got plenty of physical comic books to relish in. We're going to be like cats rolling out in catnip. I'm allergic to cats. I am. What's in the bag? That's right. We're going to play What's in the Bag a little later. What did I get this week from my local comic book shop, my LCS? What did I buy with money and to add to my collection? You know, Lane Kramer had to wait in 35 minutes to get his comics. That's great, though. That means people were out, and I hopefully hopefully, you know, you got everything you wanted. I missed out on Flash Gordon #0. I did. I missed it. It didn't happen. I have a story about Free Comic Book Day. We're going to get to that at the end of the show. Because I had plans. Yeah. I was force proof. That's nice. And that's good, though. I mean, I'm really happy to hear that. That means like people are out there, you know, getting comic books. What did I read? I can't talk about these ones yet. These are next week's comic books. Seriously, I mean, like, oh my goodness. I read a bunch of next week's Image comics already. Yeah. Something called Singularity, something called Little Monsters. Like Crocodile Black by Philip Kennedy Johnson. That's on Boom Studios. It's some murder mystery stuff, some supernatural shit. But what did we get? What did we read? Where are the Marvels? Let's find the Marvel comics we read. Let's talk about Marvel comics. I didn't read many DC comic books this week. That's fine. Sometimes it happens. And sometimes it doesn't. That's why it's a pirate chest. It's always some kind of great, the thing to just like find and be like, wow, this is some good stuff. Let's see. That was last week. And this week we had wow, it's where is it? Geeky, you're supposed to do this before the show starts. Wow, all right. Is it? Indeed. Where did it go? They didn't have the Jeremy Adams comic. Okay. Setting yourself up for pain in July. Yeah, huh? Where did it go? It's here somewhere. I trust you, Pika. Don't worry. We get Barbaric #1 in Vault. That was fun. Blood Brothers Mother #1 on Distillery. Spectre Gray. Let's see. Yeah, I thought I had. I can't find. There we go. This week's Marvel Comics, starring Blood Hunt #1. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry about that. It took me just. I'm having a boomer moment right in front of your eyes. We read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different Marvel comics this week. Read a bunch of Image comics. I've read we've got so many physical comics to go through, including what we grabbed for Free Comic Book Day. Lane Kramer was disappointed by Tales of the Empire stories for Disney Plus. Morgan Elsbeth was still boring, and they wasted the fate of Barriss Offrey. Oh, indeed. Yeah, I don't Disney Plus, but like it was May the 4th yesterday. This is the shirt I wore for it. This is Reality in a sci-fi font. You see that? That's Doug V's, I believe. This is from the 1997 reshoots of that's Boba Fett in Jabba's palace and Return of the Jedi that they had some pickup shots for, and so underneath that helmet is a stodgy looking British dude with glasses and a mustache. He looks just like you and me. You know what I mean? That's Reality. So this was my. I wore this on May the 4th. I'm not going to shit on May the 4th. I'm not going to bantha poodoo on May the 4th because lots of people enjoy it. And I don't want to be that prick, shitting on someone's good time. I don't know about you, George Lucas, but, I'm not going to poop on it either. You made a lot of money off of that. So you can wipe, I wouldn't advise that because you might get a paper cut and you don't know where that money's been. So you could have came from a stripper. And you know what strippers pick? Come on. You always bring your own singles, single dollar bills to the strip. This is hard-won gnosis. You bring your own tip money to the strip bar because you break that 20 at the bar. You know where the bartender got all of those copious amounts of singles from. Just saying. All right. Hello. I used to get $2 bills because I like, the whole like, ooh, that was cutesy, it's my way of like double tipping the strippers. The dancers. I actually have respect for them. I call them dancers. Theoden from and Rohan will answer. That's great. I love those movies. If I'm alone on a holiday, I watch the trilogy, the extended cut trilogy, and for the past 2 years of if it was either Christmas or Thanksgiving that I was stuck home alone, I watch. You turn it on at 7:00 in the morning, they're done at 7 p.m. or something like that, and depending on how many breaks you take, and watch the credits because that music is part of the experience. It's denouement, and I've been watching it with the cast commentary tracks, and it's really fun. It's a really enriching experience. I read X-Men 34 this week by Jerry Duggan. I'm just gonna share it. I don't care. It's not like the stuff isn't. It's already over and done with. Okay, it's dreams are real. They live, they breathe, and when they die, when they do, they can break people too. And so there's Xavier in league with Omega Sentinel and the AI of Orcus. And to save mutants, he has made a deal with the devil. So he's willing to commit, or give the appearance of willing to commit, the purposeful elimination of a people based upon their culture and the way they are. The word is genocide. And this is a play on No More Mutants, spoken by Wanda Maximoff right before M Day and the House of M series. It was so very long ago. It was like at least 15 years ago. When was the House of M? House of M Marvel Comics is in 2005. That is almost 20 years old now. All of Olivia Copiel had that great art. I mean, I was dialed into that just for a little bit, Let's get back to the funny books, though. But yeah, X-Men 34. And I don't think the art's pretty good, but this is the penultimate issue of this volume of X-Men. Volume 6, issue 34. Issue 35 is going to be Legacy number 700. And remember, so this takes place after the fall of X. And so that means everything going on in Wolverine right now is moot in a way because he gets better. But it's still a good... I'm still liking Wolverine. Trust me. The Sabretooth War, they literally got me for at least $50, maybe like $53, because issue 50 is going to be some kind of maybe a $7.99er. So they'll get me for what, $52 for those 10 issues of books. That would have cost how much as a trade paperback? Probably what, $40? I always think that's the most criminal thing is that the trade paperbacks again that are a chunk cheaper than the floppies that you bought in sequence and serial. I like Kamala Khan moments. She's okay. And see that snick right there, and even if it's 4x23, that's hand drawn. And I respect hand drawn onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, 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 boom, snicked, bam, flip. That's right. Shadow Cat. And this is just a lot of lot of wheels spinning before the car gets put away. Yeah, I read Weapon X-Men #3, I think, of 4 or 5. This is a $3.99 comic for about 26 pages of story and art. It's written by Christos Gage, art by Yildiz Sidar, and it is just a multiverse mashup team. What are we doing over at X-Men? I mean, Wolverine Sabretooth War right now. We have a multiverse team of Sabretooth coming after Logan and his loved ones, Laura as well. And so this is a Phoenix Force has picked a multiverse team of Wolverines from different parts of the Marvel multiverse. You have Earth X, you have Old Man Logan, you've got Zombies Logan, you've got a gender swapped steampunk version, you've got Age of Apocalypse, and a Phoenix, a Jean Grey Phoenix. And it should be fun, you know what I mean? It should be like, but it's not. I mean, yeah, and exactly. Thank you, Lane. That comic looks awful. It's like, I'm not gonna talk shit about Jerry Duggan, but I'm not gonna also like, this wasn't my favorite issue. I mean, he's done a lot better issues over the other books, like an Iron Man and an Uncanny Avengers too. Maybe he can land this. He's got one more issue. This is just, will Duggan land the Krakoan Age? Exactly, huh? We got Vengeance of Moon Knight #5, which is a Blood Hunt tie-in. And what was the point of any of this book? It's just some kind of tie-in into Blood Hunt, which Jed McKay is writing as well. And who's the Shroud? And what's his power set? Well, it factors into the sun disappearing in Blood Hunt, which we'll get to at the bottom of this list here. Yeah, because it's done alphabetically in reverse. We started with X, and now we're at V, the Vengeance of Moon Knight. It's just, yeah. And it's, yeah, this is a lot of wheel spinning. I mean, I feel sorry for the Moon Knight fans that have been looking forward to this and speaking so well about Moon Knight. It's just, this one's a miss. Spider-Woman #7. Stephen Fox. Iguara. I mean, she's in San Francisco, and there is legitimate unrest. And then, I mean, it's not good, but it's not bad. It kind of reminds me of like Flash comics from like the late 80s and early 90s, like that kind of stuff. I mean, at least it's you know, the characters in there, her voice, the character's doing her own thing within character. It's Jessica Drew, and she's on this like hard traveling heroes thing. She's like on her motorcycle, so she's made it from Marvel Manhattan all the way to Marvel San Francisco, where a new level of hilarity and calamity will ensue. And yeah, it's about it. Now we have the Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace special. And I thought that this was going to be a Marvel edition of The Phantom Menace as an adaptation, because there's a pre-existing 4-issue adaptation, the official comics adaptation when Dark Horse had the license. So that was done in 1999, you know. And this, written by Greg Kupak, and we have a cover by Phil Noto, you know, this photorealism. Phil Noto does like a lot of the Star Wars covers. That's like his bread and butter, you know. I think he does a great job too. And this is just a tale set around, and look, this is a dream that Anakin has. But look specifically at this lightsaber. All right, we're gonna blow this up. We're gonna lose the page real quick. Anakin. Okay, you see that? It's a yellow lightsaber with that kind of. This looks like Rey's lightsaber at the end of Rise of Skywalker. This got nothing to do with anything, really. But it's just like, yeah, this is it. This is it. Anakin had a dream. This is something that's mentioned in the episode 1 novelization, that, you know, and I had a dream that I came back and saved. I freed all the slaves. I think that was a dropped story note, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't have any evidence about that. But as a Star Wars fan, I really think that, like, that's something they brought up and something that they dropped, you know. And here's another thing of Anakin being nice to a Tusken Raider. And in the novelization, there's the edited scene of him saving the Tusken overnight, you know, with the shelter. And yeah, this is it. This is it's all of these like around scenes that like weren't in the movie. Yeah, I mean, this is the 25th anniversary special. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's that. Yeah, I mean, it's got variant covers. Star Wars, exactly. That's a great way to put it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, birthday girl. Awesome. Where did it go? There we are. Power Pack, Into the Storm, 5 of 5. Well, that happened. You know, I was rooting for it because you got Louise Simonson and June Brigman, you know, the original creators of this, and it's not that great, but maybe it's made for kids though. I really feel like this is like something like grandma is telling the grandkids a story about, and you know, if it's Grandma Wheezy telling her legitimate grandkids, like, hey, this is, you know, something your grandma made. This is your legacy, you know. This is Invincible Iron Man number 18, Fall of the House of X. And this was really boring. This is my only favorite part of the entire magazine, was here at the beginning, where Tony had smuggled in to Rhodey an old War Machine suit that was like, he's like, so I got a hold of some pin particles and sent him the old comfortable suit from the back of his closet, you know. And you know, he lets himself out because the trumped up charges were going to, like, you know, go away after all this Orchid stuff blows over, you know. And there's Fei Long, and there's Magneto, and there's Tony Stark. And Fei Long has realized that the AI has betrayed him. and that they're gonna, because the AI is gonna get rid of humans and mutants alike. So they take, Fei Long's like, oh, you played me as a sucker, and so they team up, all these rivals and adversaries, to help sway the battle. And they go one-on-one with Nimrod. And it is like, again, like Jerry Duggan, who is doing the heavy lifting of this volume of the X-Men. He's with Kieran Gillen is putting to bed the Krakoan age. So yeah, this has had stronger issues too. I've really liked some of these issues recently in this Invincible Iron Man run that plays so well with the X-Men stuff. AL's local comic book shop had 33% off of all Star Wars stuff yesterday. It was fake Disney Star Wars Day. No, it's not. I'm not gonna bantha poodoo. I am not gonna bantha poodoo on May the 4th. I probably have in the past, so I've already done it. People really kind of like it. I just say that I'm Orthodox. I want my beliefs respected. I'm Orthodox. I celebrate on May the 25th, because on May the 25th, 1977, that's when Star Wars was released. A New Hope is something that came about in 1981 with the release of Empire Strikes Back in 1980, and with the opening crawl now saying something episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. The subsequent re-releases of Star Wars now said episode 4, A New Hope. I remember I was there for that. I experienced that confusion. I was 7 years old. I saw it on premiere night. My auntie took me and my best friend Brian, who was 6 years old. We were Star Wars gaga with the action figures and everything else that was sci-fi at that time. And I remember seeing that and having that initial confusion, because that episode thing did not exist. And I saw there was a cognitive dissonance, and that got smoothed out with that retcon, with that retroactive continuity. That is literally retroactive continuity. In 1977, the opening crawl of Star Wars did not say episode anything. It did not say A New Hope. It was just, it is a time of civil war. Mark McGrath's in the house. How's it going, Mark? Good to see you. Remember when Nimrod was a formidable villain? He took the entire team of X-Men and the inner circle of the Hellfire Club to defeat Nimrod. Now he's barely an inconvenience. Yeah, because it's like, because he can, I guess, there's one Nimrod, but he can like Ultron that shit, he can he's got puppet bodies, but then, there is a one Nimrod remaining. Yeah. Yes. They nerfed and they made most of the villains tortured anti-heroes. I remember. Yeah. Sheesh. Immortal Thor. Number 10. Beautiful cover by Alex Ross. This was action-packed, pretty good art. It plays with the whole Roxxon corporate-owned Thor and the ability to that it's magic. And if you believe it's Thor by reading it, it actually gives him makes him like almost an equal to Thor, but Thor, our immortal Thor Odinson, Marvel's Thor, is one step ahead of it and and giving a very brutal beatdown. And but it's all a setup where Thor is left with their murder weapon in his hand. Indeed. I'm so glad and grateful that Nick Klein is back on the Incredible Hulk. He draws the best hand-drawn onomatopoeia. See that? That's all hand-drawn. All those sound effects. These are hand-drawn onomatopoeia. You see, like, look at the treble around that. That's the kadok. You look at that one right there. It's like, let's pull that up to 400. Turkey's done. Turkey's done. That's the timer. Make sure you feed the fire. Throw another log on there. See that? Look at that. That's beautiful hand-drawn onomatopoeia. The sound effects in a comic. And remember that a Hulk comic book is pretty loud. Look at this beautiful, this hatching in the background for shadow and definition, you know? And that's a hand-drawn background. How often do we see, you know, just 3D assets or just a solid color? Look at that. Boom. Look at that. Look at the line through it, the hatching through that. Look at the perspective. You feel the TV rattling. I'm loving this. The Hulk has come to the Strange Academy. Look at that boom. Look at that crash. I'm loving. See, I love Nick Klein's art. And Nick Klein's art is elevating what I think is a pretty decent Philip Kennedy Johnson story. And see right there, that whoosh, that's an asset. That's a cut and paste. You can totally tell from the sharpness of the image as well. Because you can see slap. I mean, like, I don't know if you can see the pixelization on it. When Klein isn't drawing an issue, you really get to see how paper thin the writing really is. I really like Phil Kennedy Johnson, but with this Hulk, everything is padded out. There isn't a lot there. I agree, Mark. Yeah, it is really, yeah. I've had the most enjoyment, the most satisfaction reading this book when it's Nick Klein's turn with the art. And we're going to finish with 3 really strong books. I went out and bought this one. This is, I don't know how much of this I can show. This is a Max comic. This is 18 plus. This is over-the-top violence. This has a lot of dirty words. This has a lot of racial stereotypes and racial stereotyping words. It uses epithets, racial epithets. This is set in 1971 in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, where we have Captain Frank Castle, who will eventually grow up to be the Punisher. And he's got to... and there was a book before this too, a previous team up with Colonel Nick Fury and Frank Castle. And is that the Russian as well? I mean, I don't know. I didn't read that, but this is a follow up. Colonel Fury is behind enemy lines and needs to be liberated, and with extreme prejudice. So there's a scene like right out of Apocalypse Now. Oh, I can't show this part. This brutal death scene that Garth Ennis is known for. He's known for, but this was great. It gave me something I didn't know I needed, and that was a good war comic book. I grew up in the Bronze Age. I'm a Bronze Age baby, but some of my first comic books were my uncle's comic books, my dad's little brother, and he was a teenager in the mid 70s, and he had GI Combat that had Sergeant Rock, and he also had Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos. He had Unknown Soldier. So GI Combat had like Haunted Tank, which was that was an amazing but it's like World War II comics where there's like life and death, there's bloodshed, there's gun violence, there's explosives, there's Nazis getting their just deserves because they were portrayed, they are evil pricks. And an Easy Company or the Howling Commandos gave them, they gave Jerry what was coming to him. And it's interesting. Yeah. The young people talk that way. Yeah. And it must be like South Park. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, this is Joe Kelly's and Adam Kubert. This is for mature audiences. It's Deadpool, Wolverine, World War III. This was pretty fun. This is pretty good. It's pretty violent because it's over the top. It's a mini. I don't know how canonical it is. See, it doesn't have any of that trade dress. It doesn't say Fall of the House of X, or it doesn't say like anything. We have a Wolverine in a very neutral costume, in browns and light and dark brown, not in blue and yellow, or even black and yellow, and some stylized leather. He is, and look at that beautiful hand-drawn onomatopoeia, that boom. Pretty sure that's it too. Sniff, sniff, crack. He's cracking his neck, and boom! Look at that. And then there's fucking Deadpool. Fuck. There we go. Wingdings. If you ever wondered, those are wingdings. The symbols that are taking place of a swear word. Mark McGrath says, these days the artists are doing more than their fair share of the heavy lifting. Tom King and Mark Russell are famous for using their artists as human shields. Yeah. And yeah, pretty much. But I will say Mark Russell's Batman Dark Age is pretty good because the art elevates it. The All Reds are doing the art on that, and that was a pretty interesting multiverse take. And when it comes to Tom King, I'm not completely objecting to his Wonder Woman, and I'm downright liking the Penguin for that, like for the most recent stuff here. And looks like it's Logan and Wade after the same target. Look at this. Look at those blams. That's hand drawn. You can tell there's a visceral feel to that in the art. Those blams, they're part of the art. See that zeets, that's you can tell it's so crisp and clear. And through the lettering and some of the onomatopoeia, those are dropped and dragged. But that look at that bracketaka. That's all fucking, you probably hand drew it once. And you know what I mean? And then added it in. I can see that. It would be hell if you had to do that by, over and over again. But still, that is hand drawn. You can tell. It just looks it against the power of Apple. This was pretty fun, and it's Deadpool versus Wolverine, World War III. Now, Cable 4 of 4, written by Fabian Nicenza, who knows the character. It's Fall of the House of X. This was just strictly some cash grab stuff, all right? This was a pretty dumb story. It was dull. The art was pretty flat. And but I got into some really interesting conversations because of it. I asked Doc about this, and I get into good conversations. I saved my X-Men questions for Doc. Stand by one moment. We'll be back in just a moment. Perhaps an ad will run. And we're back. Thank you so much. I needed a little break. I had to go to the bathroom. Jeez, it happened. Nature was calling. Yeah, hello. We have the Blood Hunt here now. I want you to look at Blade. Okay, and now I have the red band version here. It's just a little bit slightly different of a cover. This is the red band. What's in our bag? Hey, that's giving it away, huh? The art in this is great. This is the reason that I'm getting this. We have Sun Death. And then we have this countdown. All these different light-based characters are being magically manipulated to blot out the sun. And that is including like Cloak from Cloak and Dagger, the Shroud, this one, that one, the other one, and all their like negative light powers have their shadow powers have blotted out the sun everywhere. And I'll spoil one thing for you. You see Sun Death, and all the vampires come out. Look at this great art by Pepe Larraz. Loving it. Some good stuff. Blood Hunt #1. Key players. The Midnight Mission. So Jed MacKay's been writing Avengers. Jed MacKay's been writing Moon Knight, and Blade just did. Brian Hill just did 10 issues on Blade, which was all set up to this. I've got mixed feelings about King's Wonder Woman. I think the Daniel Sampere art is outstanding. Sampere's art is just, especially that last issue, the one with Diana is tied with the rope of with the lasso of lies, and she's in that dream space where she's a homemaker with an evil version of Steve, who would never speak to her like that and would never treat Diana like that. Steve Trevor would. That was complete. Yeah, I mean, that was a lie-based fantasy, but her figure, her face, her beauty, that was Milo Manara level great pencil work. I mean, and I'm also finding the backup with Trinity to be cute. It's fun, actually. It's good to see that King can do something a little lighthearted and get away with it. I just, I like this stupid samurai thing where she's training with this. She's in the past, and the timeline keeps butterfly affecting. You know what I mean? And Damien and John just keep, their outward appearance keeps changing, and then, reality stabilizes. It's very much like it's cheeky. It's very Douglas Adams, probability. Normalcy has resumed. and the heart of gold folds back into normal space. I just thought, I know, I like fun, but it's not the story, yeah, it is the art, and it's very weird for the first time considering the behavior. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to buy Mark Waid stuff, don't buy Mark Waid stuff. Me personally, I come at it like like we're going to see a Mark Waid book that I bought this week. I don't take him seriously, but I don't take Ethan seriously either. I mean, they're just like the two sides of the same coin. They may make the same purchase with that coin. If you look at it, you want to even look even harder into that metaphor. And, but yeah, I think, I think that Tom King likes fantagonism. Yet also, I'm saying that also that Tom King's The Penguin, that 12-inch, find me the strangest woman, you give it just a little pinch, she said that's up at driving, now whip out your big 10-inch, wreck it up my van, who plays the booth. That's whataboutism. But I do like his Penguin. He's doing a 12-issue maxi on that, and I find that's like somewhere he can foist his talents and get away with it. Like destruction of characters. You can tell that Tommy King's been in the toy box. How all the action figures are broken. Tommy. Oh, you had to do it again. Well, that's what you get for letting Tommy King in your toy box. You can end up with broken action figures. That's what you get for inviting them over and you letting them play with your toys. That's an allegory. Look it up. He's getting sassy in his old age. That's right. I'm sassy. I'm from South Boston, Massachusetts, 02127. We didn't have class. We got a lot of sass. We have blue collar people. But yeah, I mean, here's a good one. I want to share this much of Sun Death, Korea, Sun Death, Colombia, Sun Death in China, Sun Death in Canada, Nigeria, Italy, Latveria. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Sun Death, Latveria. I'm surprised that I'm the only person I know that has picked up on this so far. Do you see what I see? It's sunny. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. And now I'm hearing Doom's voice with Danny DeVito. That would be great. Now ensures that Doom's new subjects are attended to after all. Excellent. Latvia's borders are secure. Yeah, how was that? Was that a good Danny DeVito? Yeah. Whatever thing Doom has with whatever's going on, that the sun is shining in Latveria. I just think, yeah. I can't in good conscience support. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's good to have standards and thanks. This is I'm your brother Julius. We are twins. Yeah, I can see. And yeah, I mean, I was talking with a friend of mine about they don't want to go to watch Red Sox games because of all the activism over the past few years. And I get it. And I'm like, I just, because I was admitting to eating half of a pint of Ben and Jerry's, murdering it. I totally killed it. And that was my intent, was to murder this pint of fish food, which is a wonderful ice cream flavor with caramel and marshmallow swirls and dark chocolate, fish, little pieces. I love it. It's one of my favorite ice creams. And, you know, Ben and Jerry go hard in the paint about activism too, but I think it's just a trend as well. And I can see through it and past it. So I can buy Ben and Jerry's and be okay with it. And I can buy a Mark Waid comic book and still be okay with it. I get it. I mean, he's quite a pill. He really is. But yeah, that's what I had to say. It's night all over the world, except for it is sunny in Dr. Doom's homeland. What else do we read? This was pretty good. This would be it's on Vault Comics. It's called Barbaric, Born in Blood. And it's, you know, I don't know any of these creators. It's got a whole bunch of, you know, it's a whole, you know, that's a Berserk reference cover. I know that now. And yeah, those are all the variant covers written by Michael Morici. Nathan Gooden is the artist. And it just, we start in the middle of the story with a sentient axe who's got amnesia. And it drinks the blood of whomever it decapitates and mauls at the hands of this, you know, barbarian hero, or, you know, and this was pretty fun. There's a vampire, there's magic, and it's 43 pages. Well, actually, a lot of those pages were other covers. Indeed. What else did I read this week? I read a bunch of stuff. Where's that? Where? Pika, you got to get better organized. This is why we're getting you some help. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah, we got to find it again. Come on. Go back to the Devron system, Will. Let's see. What's for supper? That's what I want to know. Here we are. Image. Thank you. Present and share your screen. There we go. We read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different Image comics this week. And one of them I picked up. And it was this one called Bear Pirate Viking Queen. And this is 68 pages of story and art for $4.99 in this first issue. I don't know how. I've never heard of this before. This came to me in the digital pirate chest, and it just starts off in the middle of the action, and it's a part ghost story, some supernatural shit going on, and there's a pirate who has a bear. How? I have no idea how they get along. They just do. It's a story. Like, how did we get here? Boats, my love, and all the men that came with them. Look at this art. This is the story of us all. Look at that hand-drawn onomatopoeia. Look at that's so much part. That's part of the art. Look at these lettering. Look at this beautiful lettering. I am Captain Paul Reddish of the Queen's Navy, and I am bringing bounty from the Horn of Africa. It starts with a pirate. And there's a bear. I should have died, but I saw, these look like watercolors. No pun. I mean, being like a sea-born pirate tale. This is a really good comic book. This is like, the story in this is like, I equated it, like, this is like a Cormac McCarthy book. I don't know if you've ever, let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm going to check it out, Wes, but Josh did. Cool. Yeah, I like the energy of it. And, well, remember, Will Wheaton used to say, don't be a dick. And then he became one himself, seriously. He told me, if you don't like the new Star Trek, he didn't say it to me personally, but he made a huge blanket statement to all of us old Star Trek fans. Then he's one of us that, if you don't like what's going on in the new stuff, then go find something else to do. And guess what? I took your advice, Will. You're a gatekeeper now. You became a dick. But this art is just, this is like, it reminds me of late 80s pre-Vertigo DC mature comics, like in that first part of Vertigo comics as well. And the bear and the pirate get along. I have no idea why. And this is really interesting too. Look at these panels. Look at this art. This is a comic book, man. This is great. There's art here. There is story here. There are things to unpack here. I mean, I am so in love with this little comic book that I had no clue about until I saw it. We have Crave number 6 by Maria Lovett, which is interesting. I like looking at all of these image books. I like their design, because remember, these are periodical publications. There's a lot of thought behind a page layout and everything. It's some kind of high school stuff, some supernatural stuff. Is it supernatural? I'm not sure. There's some kind of maybe supernatural phone app that's just kind of like controlling the kids of this school or this university. And hey, Fear Marnock, good to see you. How you doing? I love the Hunter S. Thompson avatar. I really do. See, we have Kaya number 18 by Craig West. And it's interesting. It's cartoony. It's got fantasy aspect. I like the art. Look at that. This is the kind of art that I like. It's a little bit on the digital side, but this is where, like, it's okay. We got real hand drawn onomatopoeia. It could have been drawn on a tablet, but at least it was hand done. You can see it. You get that feel for it. I really feel that. Kai is a fun book. It's okay. Really never heard of it. It's King Spawn. This is done by Todd McFarlane, and he sells this for $2.99. It's pretty interesting. A lot of vampire stuff going on here. It's knee deep in its own continuity, which is kind of over my head. I'm really lost on that stuff. But you know what? $2.99. He's making literally 29 pages of art and story. How many pages? 1, 2. Oh wow! McFarlane Toys. Look at this. Is what Austin Butler looks a bit too flesh toned, to be honest. I think that the whole thing about Austin Butler's Fade Ratha is he looks like he's carved from marble. he looks like, that is Michelangelo's David, but animated, Fear Monarch. Yeah, Kid Fury was a close second. I was expecting a more generic war history, but yeah, it went really hard into that red paint. And I was like, I thought I lost my taste for the hyper-violent, but I guess it's how it's done. See, Garth Ennis sicked me out on Garth Ennis on Punisher Max. That was after Punisher Marvel Knights. The stuff with Steve Dillon. That was like all the stuff with the Tim Broadstreet covers, and it was Marvel Max. And he did like a couple of volumes of that. But there was just this one where it was like set in Marvel Manhattan, and it was like there was like Russian mob stuff, and that they had this torture killer, and he hated his job because he was so good at it. But what he would do is he would use fingernail clippers, and he would start with your eyelids. I know this is fucking gross, and this is what gross. This is Garth Ennis, and this is Garth Ennis in fiction and doing his thing au naturel. Before there was Tom King, Garth Ennis did a lot of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, just did wholesale damage to imaginary people. And it was that nail clipper killer that I swore off Ennis after that. I did not even tune into The Boys. I've never read The Boys. I've seen season 1. I've seen season 2 because I got Prime, and I thought that season 2 totally jumped the shark when it came to messaging agenda, intersectional tinkerings with the modernities that usually ruin a decent superhero show. But what else do this was really interesting. I would have picked this up if it was on the shelf. It's called Packless, issue number 8. It's in this issue, part 1 of Hero and chapter 7 of the Amnia Cycle. I just love the art in this. This was just so very much me. This is so European in flavor. Like this is like it's very Mobius. This is very French. Look at all the hyper details. Look at how good this art is. I'm so impressed with this book. And both of these tales. This is a Packless comic. It's written and lettered by DJ Bryant and art by Dustin Weaver. Look at this line art. This is just so good. It's a cheese doodles ad. Are you kidding me? I'm so happy because I eat so much. I eat Cheetos like almost every morning. Crunchy Cheetos. I grab a bag and it's part of my breakfast. It's part of my solid breakfast. If you ever watch my gratitude list videos and what I'm grateful for is like, my family, my friends, my faith, my freedom, my health, my union job, a good night's sleep, and a solid breakfast. And part of that solid daily breakfast is a bag of crunchy Cheetos. And I wash it down with a cup of fresh Dell's coffee that I bring to work. And I have a Mr. Coffee, and I brew my own coffee. We have a coffee shop. I like my coffee better. Sorry. Have standards. Live by them. Ennis is hyper-violent. Yeah. And with that said, I don't read a lot of Ennis stuff. Well, the Punisher stuff that he wrote at Punisher Knights with line art by Steve Dillon, the late great Steve Dillon, with inks by Jimmy Palmiotti. This stuff is over the top, really good stuff, but it has a sense of humor because he hasn't gone completely dark yet. The Marvel Knights imprint was lighter in flavor. It was definitely for mature audiences, but it wasn't quite what Marvel Max gave in orders of latitude, So, oh, hey, Lithidor, good to see you. Welcome. My milkshake brings the boys to the yard. I could teach you, but I have to charge my milkshake in the value of the yard. Look at those puddles. It's so Blade Runner like. This is so European. I really love. So this is Packless number 8. If you've never heard of this, I've never heard of this. Look at this, just wonderful art, and just look at all this wonderful hatching and shadow work. You know, these aren't screen tone filters done with a digital colorist. These are actual lines drawn by the artist to give definition, shadow, to give form in the background, to give depth perception. I mean, Packless is cool. I mean, this is good stuff. I wonder if it will collect very well. I don't know what the frequency is of this magazine. But it's just like it's like one part Eon Flux. If you remember the MTV Liquid Television animated show, it's another part Danger Diabolique, which is this famous bande dessinée, this European French action adventure spy comic book, and then it's also another part like Blade Runner and just Jean-Jacques Giraud, aka Mobius. Wonderful. Oh gosh, this line art to be continued in Packless 10. So you don't even get the next part of this in the next issue of Packless when it comes out. And then we have the Amnesia cycle here. And really tight art. This is like really great sci-fi storytelling. Very European. I'm loving this stuff. This was great. I love being turned on to something new. And it's always new if you haven't gotten to it yet. And this was just so much fun. And I like the reveal about the twin planets. And this was great. And then we have Sagittarius A at the end of this. The next issue, the Juniper Lodge. And the next issue, we're going on a brief detour. A ways back, I caught sight of a sign by the side of the road advertising a motel, and now I can't stop thinking about it. I don't know why. The name repeats in my mind. The idea of it pervades my imagination. I must take that exit. I can hardly think of anything else. But that's the beauty of Packless. I can take this book anywhere. I have creative freedom behind this wheel. The next stop, the Juniper Lodge, and a double feature with a little story called Defects in the Hand-Drawn Line, plus a Sagittarius A strip for a little continuity. I hope to see you there. Wow. You can also become a patron at Patreon Dustin Weaver. I don't do that. I don't Patreon anymore. Okay. Oh, we're going to come to that in just a minute. We really are. Yeah, it was supposed to be confusing. But the art was great. They were just, some of them were just very episodic. And then they, in the later stuff, they tried to go arc-oriented storylines and even add dialogue too. But yeah, that was great stuff. Eon Flux. But yeah, Packless number 8. What a gem. There was the Whisper Queen by Chip Zdarsky and the White Trees one shot, which we won't get into because it's not because it's Alphabet People oriented. It's because there is graphic sex scenes. And I don't mind erotic art. It's actually quite well drawn as well. I really have an appreciation for erotic art. But it's I saw this on the shelves at new release day, and I should have, and I wanted to tell them, like the staff, like, you should really have that on the top shelf, nowhere where a child can see any of that. That it should be like, or even behind that, that might need a poly bag. It's that adult. It really is. And oh wow. Is the turkey done? No, that means to put on another log on the fire. We're going to put another log on the fire. Make sure that the fire doesn't go out. Yeah, behind us, the fireplace, yeah. It keeps us warm. Actually, I throw old copies of magazine, old Dan Slott copies in there. I throw my old Donny Cates in there. I've been throwing my old Becky Cloonan into the fire. Anything by David Pepose, anything by Tim Sheridan. Sorry, like hey, I know you were jamming with, Jeremy Adams and Jeff Johns on that, Flashpoint Beyond stuff, but I had to feed the fire. But, sorry, Tim Sheridan. Yeah, but we want you to do the blockers. Yeah, no. Phantom 2024. Is that like the Phantom as in King Features Phantom, like Billy Zane Phantom? And then there was this one. What's the furthest place from here? This wasn't that good. It's 56 pages for $3.99. It's its 18th issue. Tyler Boss and Matthew Rosenberg, and Hassan Atmani Allahu is doing the lettering. And he's on the cover. You see that? One thing I just wondered, because he's got such did he negotiate that? Is that just an editorial thing? That he has such a, dare I say, an ethnic sounding name that he just brings diversity and representation into the mix just by putting his name on a title? That's the basest thing I could say or think. Happy 420. Thank you for that break. Yeah, okay, thank you. So Phantom 2024, was that an old cartoon, or is that something current? Oh, birthday girl. But yeah, I mean, this was kind of just like all over the place. Like there's some kind of just chapter 71, then chapter 73. I mean, it's just like, it's very, I like sci-fi, and this could be a kind of a take on Evgeny Zamyatin. He did a Soviet era, early 20th century. Had this wonderful science fiction book called We, about the one state. And in a world with there's no privacy. And this is how, so this is very evocative of that source. It's sci-fi. It's set in some kind of, future that procreation has been taken out of, our hands. But it's like this woman is an oddball. She had a natural childbirth, so she has a connection with her infant. They took her infant away, and she's been doing all this stuff to get her infant back and to leave the city. And there's some kind of second world out there too, where like mutants live. See, it's like I'm just my first issue of this, and I don't know. It's very kind of like independent booky. Yeah, it is an independent book. It's an image book, but that's Matthew Rosenberg in that, and he was doing that, the Joker, the man who doesn't laugh book, and that was like that, all the notoriety of the ill-suited, the ill-defined male pregnancy, when it was just like some clay face residue that was distended his stomach, and he vomited, or did he have it? What was it? Did he actually have a bowel movement? And people thought it was like, oh, outrage. this male pregnancy stuff. They're taking it. They making joke. Who gives? Oh, and nobody talked about Francaviglia's art in that. Francesco Francaviglia's art. His art was amazing in that. He does his own coloring. Even when it's digital coloring, his stuff looks good. Let's see. Anything else? That was it for the Image Comics last week. And let's get to what's in the bag. That's right. We're going to find out what did I buy this past Wednesday from my local comic book shop. What's in the bag indeed. We'll start off with the greatest miss. Okay. This is House of Brainiac, issue 2.5. Now, I got Power Girl number 8 because it said it was a House of Brainiac tie-in issue. And you see, still has the Dawn of DC trade dress. This was for $5.99. It's got a couple of different writers. It's got Joshua Williamson's doing a story in here, who he's like, the primary writer of all this. And it's got a story by Mark Russell. We were just talking about Mark Russell. And it's about, Bilbo. Is it Bilbo? His name's not Bilbo. It's this, what's his name? It's just, his name's like, Bibbo. And he's like this classic golden age sidekick character with the Doiby hat like mine. And apparently this. Okay. Now you have to be as loud as the con men and the bullies, to whom being loud comes naturally. Now, is that supposed to be Eric July? I see a lot more of like Star Wars theory in that than Indeed. Yeah, that's just so it's about what's going on in Metropolis. Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, is running for mayor. And exactly. Fear Monarch sees Alex Jones. That's great. Exactly. So like we were talking about this in the chat on Saturday. It was the first I heard about it too. That this was an Eric July reference, and this is Mark Russell throwing shade specifically at Eric July. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. I would see it as the YouTube, fellowship fandom culture in, overall, that's how we look. I mean, that's why, that's that's how I look, for fuck's sake. Is that me? Is that supposed to be me? I know you couldn't have put Pika, but you could have made some kind of, nondescript Pokemon knockoff. You know what I mean? He's an important part of the show. All right. I'm just the talent. I read what he writes, all of it. Okay. There. So, yeah. And that Ethan likes having it at the beginning of his shows too. And I fast forward through that Alex Jones stuff. I can't stand Alex Jones. I can't stand Alex Stein. And just like, it's not my cup of tea. Feel free to say what you want about who you want, when you want. I don't have to tune into you and listen to you. That's fine. I don't know. He doesn't have like his, I think he doesn't, he's not wearing a tank top. I like that the ethnicity of this individual is kind of like, it's up for interpretation because it's about the lighting and the light source. It kind of respects like what's going on in the background. And then he's got that whole kind of like, Joe Rogan thing, like with a thing in the background, the grenade. But yeah, is that an it was a stab at Eric July? I don't know. I don't know exactly. I mean, I'm not very familiar with Mr. Russell's work, but what I will say though is that this issue of Superman kind of thing was, I know we got this reveal at the end, our first, maybe this will be a key issue, the first appearance of the Brainiac Queen. Maybe that's the only thing that could save this issue with me, would be that it's a key issue, that it's a first appearance of a character, this Brainiac Queen that we've been seeing, coming for the absolute justice, absolute power summer event. But yeah, this was a complete miss. And I'll tell you, well, I have Green Lantern on my pull list. I have Superman on my pull list, and I will buy Action Comics because I like getting Superman comics and I like Joshua Williamson's writing. And that's basically what you need the most to be enjoying this. I sussed it out earlier, kind of too, doing the Wednesday show. It's I can already see that Chip Zdarsky's Batman is going nowhere. It's going to the summer event. That's what's going to happen to Failsafe. That Bruce isn't going to beat Failsafe. All right, it's leading to absolute power. There's no reason to be tuned in, even with that beautiful Jorge Jimenez art. Sorry, 1 second, please. Have a sip of water. Be water, my friend. Be water, my friend. Bruce Lee. I got this from the Bruce Lee store. Yeah, it's my favorite water bottle. It is. I read that Blood Brothers Mother #1 on Distillery by Brian Azzarello and art by Eduardo Riso, and they're a pretty good battery combo, and I mean that in the sense of baseball. What is the battery on a baseball team? It's the pitcher and the catcher. They set the tone of the game. They dictate the pace. What's good? Pretty much that's the battery. And so I consider that also in comic books, your battery being your writer and your line artist, basically doing it. So yeah, we have the Blood Hunt issue 1, the red band variant, but it's polybagged. So do I open this bad Larry up and enjoy the beautiful art that's within, or do I keep it like that? I've already read it. I read this in my my pirate chest, and Yul Carter of Fantastic Comics on his show last Tuesday did comparisons to the art, and so I've seen, except for the extra pages, but the art and there's a different blade on the non-red band, so this has more gruesome artwork. Can we ever see Batman getting his money? And yeah, sure, Pika Shades. I mean, that's going to happen probably at the end of the Ben Abernathy, because Ben Abernathy's already stepped out of DC. He was the group editor at the Batman titles. That's gone to Katie Kubrick. But if you look at the staff and the credits for the Zdarsky Batman, it's still Ben Abernathy. So this is, I guess, we're just running out of Abernathy's material. Once, will Zdarsky stay on with Katie Kubrick? Or is Katie Kubrick going to bring in someone that she wants to, to tell her stories over these Bat titles? I mean, she's got editorial stewardship over Nightwing, over Poison Ivy, over Harley Quinn, over Birds of Prey, anything with the Bat logo on it, with Batman Brave and the Bold, that's ongoing and has tenuous continuity stuff too. I'm not too sure about what is Brave and the Bold. Well, sometimes it can be quite outstanding. It really can be. I think the later issues, Tom King is doing did a story in that, and I just stay away from him. Like most of us do. But yeah, so Blood Hunt #1 from Marvel. I'm getting all 5 of these, And so I'm definitely in for at least, I think, $32. This is $1 more. Is there a price on that? Is the price over here? Yep. This was $6.99. Explicit content. The Red Band edition. Indeed. What else do we got this week? We got Incredible Hulk number 12. It's on my pull list. So I'm a reader. I'm reading this. Let's get some advertisements, because part of the fun of us reading comic books together in floppy form, I love the serialized format, the floppy, the monthly chapter of your ongoing story. And now, sure, it's all about writing for the trade. It's all about eventually, getting to like your trade paperback. Yes. I'm not showing those pages, but wow. Garth Ennis is back. Yeah, man. The best of Star Wars playlists. And it's like, featuring music from Phantom Menace, A New Hope, The Force Awakens, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and The Bad Batch. So at least half of that is John Williams music. Yeah, I mean, just look at this beautiful art. Hulk is a loud book. Look at all of those beautiful hand-drawn onomatopoeia. I'm just really liking this. And yeah, look. Here's the staple. That's your center. This is primo real estate for a splash page or an advertisement. So it's a house ad. So like Wolverine, we got Magic, and Jubilee. So we get X-Men. Because remember, Jubilee has a history with vampires. During after Decimation Day, after the House of M, Jubilee lost her mutant powers. And so to get a power set onto Jubilation Lee, she became a vampire for a decade or so in continuity with the X-Men stories. And so probably with Krakoan regeneration and and comic book death, I bet you she's not a zombie anymore, and she's back to being just her fireworks power plus a little extra. We'll see that in just a minute. We will. And but when the hell does this happen? Because we got Fall of the House of X right now, and all these Stark Sentinels that are tearing the shit out of Marvel Manhattan and the world. When do they find time? When do they find time to go to the grocery store and to do laundry and to vacuum and shit? Do they have housekeepers? Does Charles keep housekeepers at the mansion? We got Dr. Voodoo. He's not Brother Voodoo anymore. He's Dr. Voodoo. But he is a sorcerer supreme. And this is just great stuff. Look at this. Oh, the transformation stuff. Love these transformations. I'd never gotten used to didn't Dale Keown start this literal Hulk bursting from inside of Bruce Banner's body, and just Bruce Banner's got a skin shell. And because I'm used to the old style where it's just transforms, kind of like an MCU, how it's just you go from Mark Ruffalo into the CGI beast, or Edward Norton, or Eric Bana, all decent movies. I swear, I like the Norton Hulk. I like the Ann Lee Hulk. That's just it's a very bright movie. I mean, just a lot of primary colors. I like the segues where they had the comics panel segues. I liked that. It was nice. I mean, and way before the current age of superhero comic books. So yeah, we have hey, look, M&M's. Finally, look, junk food. That's great. And look, a mailbag. They will print your letter. Okay to print. That would be great. If I can finally get, Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. Story of the century. Now that Disney's part of Marvel, Jason Aaron, I'd rather have Aaron Sparrow. So if I had my choice of Aaron, I want Aaron Sparrow on this. You know what I mean? X-Men, Heir of Apocalypse #1. The 12 Mighty Mutants clash to determine Apocalypse's successor. June 2024. Steve Fox. People can like, oh, but look at that onomatopoeia. Look at that beautiful, loud comic book. What a loud comic book. Beautiful. This is great. Good to have you back, Nick Klein. You give me a lot of joy. I picked it up because it was $5.99 for 68 pages of story and art. This is really good stuff. This is like an old Vertigo book. Man, I love comics like this. It's a little bit out there. It needs to be read. It needs some. You need to stew over this a little bit. You know, this is good. This is story. This is art. This is comics. All right. Yeah, I know we talk a lot about superhero comic books because that's what mattered to us the most, and it's a big part of it. But this is great. Don't sleep on this. It's definitely not for everyone. What? Turkey's done. Throw another Donny Cates book on the fire. There's plenty of room in there for all your Dan Slott books. That's where I put mine. I had to. It was calling me. It was just, yeah. It's gonna get brutal. See, Colonel Nick Fury is taken hostage by enemy forces, and he's got, Frank Castle is being given an off the books assignment to find Colonel Fury and neutralize him. This scene is just like right out of Apocalypse Now. In Act 1 of Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen, as Captain Willard, is given his orders from a CIA guy, a colonel, and a mysterious Captain Lucas, who is played by Harrison Ford. It's true. It's like a cameo in that book, in that movie. But it's just like, oh, this is some heartbreaking war comic stuff. But it's a war comic, and then it's got horrific Garth Ennis style mutilation, dismemberment, complete insult, injury, disrespect for the human body, and just sometimes he gives his characters the most seriously tortured endings. And I thought I was over the ultra violence, like this would have grossed me out. No, I willingly I picked this up. I'm in for it. This is good. And this is going to be over the top. This is going to be Marvel Max. I have been warned. I know what I'm getting myself into. You're either in or you're out. What did we get for Free Comic Book Day? Well, Free Comic Book Day has a great story for me because I made a purchase from Yule Carter at Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. Last week, we just finished it up. So I've had some things I miss at my local comic book shop, and I'll hit Yule up and I'll be like, hey, can you put this aside for me? Do you have this? And so he's happy to, and I'm happy to give him the business too. And I'm happy just because it's just like, it's great. It's working. That, got this really good flyer. Fantastic Comics, Free Comic Book Day, in live music by IMAG88, Glam Duran, and Beef Crimes. What is Beef Crimes? Jam. There's a Mission to Michigan. Show begins at 6. Fantastic Comics. So fun you'll vomit. Fantastic Comics. He knows that I'm a sucker for a Peach Momoko variant cover. So I got some Peach Momoko in my life. Thank you, Yule Carter. I'm a sucker for it. All right. I've read these in my digital pirate chest. They're just Zeb Wells Spider-Man stories. I got them strictly for the cover. I can afford it. I can do that. you know, exactly. And so, yeah, if I see a Spider-Man variant like this, I know my store's not going to have it, and you'll just might. It's great. So I asked him to put these two aside for me, and he did. I asked him to put Rare Flavors 4 and 5 aside for me. This is Ram V and Philip Andrade's wonderful European flavor-filled, culinary-inspired, nigh immortal, just wonderful curated color palette. This is like, once again, when it comes to talking about comic books, this is a comic book. This is beautiful art. And they were always talking about food, and you know, I'm a chef, and so I love this. And so it's showing like the origin story of our nigh immortal. We can't call him is he a protagonist or is he the antagonist? We haven't gotten to the end of the story yet, but he was just been this kindly old, gentleman, and then you have the young guy who is the filmmaker that, you know, and oh gosh, I love the colors in this. I love the art in this. I love the story in this. And this is this is the story that got me into Ram V. And it's just, this is wonderful. I'm just really happy to, you know, these are Boom books. This is a Boom book. You know, here's the cover. You know, it's a nice wraparound cover. Let's look at the comic book. Yeah. 13 plus, Andrade. This is issue 4. And it's the first printing, the first cover. You can tell that from the UPC. The last 5 digits. Yeah. I haven't read these yet. I'm looking forward to reading these because I've been waiting for that. I also got The Sickness number 4. This is just weird, good stuff. $6 from Uncivilized Books. This is just, I'm letting this. This is chapter 4. I got all of them, and it's just this wonderful pencils. This is pure line art. And I think her name's Joanne? Jenna Cha does the art. Story and script by Jenna Cha and Lonnie Nadler. Letters by Hassan Otsmani Allahu. He's also on the cover. But they only have a few, creators. But it's, it's weird. It covers 2 different. It jumps back and forth between 1948 and 1958. And I'm not quite sure what's going on with anyone and anything in this. I'm just lucky to be getting these, and these are hard to get around here. I think I've gotten 3 of the 4 of these already from Yule. And here's that Mark Waid book I told you I bought, because this is World's Finest, issue 25. It's a variant cover. It's $1 more, but it's the William Shatner variant cover by Dan Mora. And that's what got me. And look, underneath it is the regular version. So it's just like, look at this. It's like a cardstock cover that's just stapled onto the common one. See, like there's a UPC under here that's going to have all the right info. Yeah, 025, that means issue 25. 11 means volume 1 and first cover. And 025, 9-1. So that means this is the 9th variant cover and volume 1. So yeah, that's what it means. Though that's right, William Shatner. It's kind of like, it's not really a cover. That's like an extra cover. Making fajitas for dinner. Have a great birthday. Thank you so much for tuning in on your birthday, AL. And and enjoy your fajitas. And I hope, and your Fudgy the Whale cake. I'm jealous. I'm not jealous because I can get my own. Yule sent along a stack of Howard Chaykin's American Flag, this 1980s comic book from First Publications. We'll get into this. I'm gonna have to like fill in all the blanks. This was $1 in what, 1986. Got to look at the let's look at the indicia. 1983. Wow. We got a Howard Chaykin on every cover, but he does most of the artwork, I think, for the first 12 issues. And then he's just the writer by the end of it. So this is issue 42. Yeah, the art's changed drastically. Let's see. Creator art by J. So this is by J.M. DeMatteis and Badger. Who's Badger? Who's Badger? Indeed. Yeah, that's a good chunk of comics. He just threw them in. And then I got this package on Wednesday. So I got these a little early and I didn't tell anyone except for Yule when I said thank you, but I got my free comic book day comic books early. And I got Conan, Battle of the Black Stone. It's pretty good stuff. This is just some Jim Zub Conan, you know. I haven't gotten to this one yet, but it's the Marvel Voices comic. Yeah. Rated T for teen. Voices Pride comic. There we go. To celebrate Pride, you know, coming up soon. Marvel Voices Legacy. Marvel Voices Community. And yeah, that's the Marvel Voices free comic book for Free Comic Book Day. Then you had this weird one, which was yes, and Fudgy the Whale. I love Fudgy the Whale. Mark Badger, thank you. Very nice. And because this is half of a Zeb Wells Spider-Man with Ryan Stegman art. So it's not Ultimate Spider-Man. This is ASM. This is called Amazing Spider-Man Target Peter Parker. This is probably coming up like what, issue 53-ish or so, coming up soon. And then the other half of this is the Ultimates by Dennis Camp with by one for Gary. And yeah. And it's like they find they're on a hunt to find. Oh, and then there's a Venom backup too, and that's done by Mayer. Indeed, but yeah, that was this was like a hodgepodge of different stuff just coming out. Yeah, this was the pick of all of them. Energon Universe 2024 special, Free Comic Book Day. Now, this is being re-released on Wednesday at a $3.99 cover price. Plus, also they have two variant covers for this as well, or a couple of, you know, because it's so weird because if you, and I think I've already signed up to get that as part of my poll list, and so I got a free copy of it, and I'm gonna pay for a copy of it too, apparently, and because it's going to be the same magazine. It's the same. I saw the solicit for it, and I got a copy of the Energon Universe 2024 special, issue number 1. I thought they were two different publications. They're not. It's the same magazine, but one to get for free, and one I'm going to pay for. Yeah. But that was the best one because I liked it. Joshua Williamson, I think, is staying. I think he's going to be writing something called Codename G.I. Joe, which is like the Duke's team of G.I. Joe. And there's going to be a B story because there's a covert team that the Duke doesn't know about. So that's pretty cool. And it's got, and Baroness is in the mix. And it's just really good stuff. It's starting. This is where they're starting just to mix it all together. It's like Megatron has a big part in this one. I really liked it. Did I even read this yet? I did. Oh, yeah, I did read this. This is a perfect issue 0. This shouldn't be special edition number 1. This should be Absolute Power issue 0. It's got a tail that sets it up, and then it has index stuff. Who's who stuff. Who's Amanda Waller? Who's Failsafe? The House of Brainiac. There she is. And they use a pronoun, she. All right. It's his, and then her. Oh, no, it's Amanda by. Oh, then you're talking about Amanda Waller. Oh, geez. There you go. Yeah. Okay, now I get it. Hey, I'm kind of, I'm bright, but it's just some of it. Sometimes I'm a little dense, but I'm taking a pass on that. There's Blood Hunt number 1, free comic book day. It's not to do. And this also has. See, this has something that's to be continued in Blood Hunt number 1. So it's got some setup in here. I don't know if they were in different magazines. I don't think so. Like Dracula is going to team up with Blade's daughter. So this was actually, I'm really pleased to have this as part of that core for Blood Hunt, because this has this good setup tale in it. But then we have the first couple of pages of Gail Simone's and David Marquez's Uncanny X-Men. And, we open up with Jubilee, and she's checking out the X-Mansion, and it's under government control. And she pushes back on some mutant racism, and it's just all setups. It's from the ashes. So this is this is the big secret that they're keeping locked away inside of the Xavier's mansion at the Institute, what formerly was the Jean Grey school for gifted people. And then there's this one too, The Worlds of James Tynion IV, which is he's doing a lot of horror stuff. So he's got Something is Killing the Children and 2 new ones called Mimetic and The Woods. He's also doing a few other things too that I read. Hey, Bungie, how's it going? Good to see you. We're just wrapping up the free comic book day portion of the show. Yeah, and that was my haul for free comic book day. I didn't have to go to my local comic book shop. I actually had plans with friends, and I was like, oh, geez, I have meeting them at 3 p.m. I'm not going to be able to get to the local comic book shop for free comic book day. But guess what? It was like a bolt out of the blue. And it's just, there you go. Here's your, I really didn't want to miss Energon Universe, and that ended up being a really good one. I can handle having 2 Joe teams, like 2 parallel Joe stories. You have the Real American Hero, and that's great. And then you have this kind of like new flavor, and I'm interested in seeing where it's going. Yeah, but I like her outfit. I love Baroness, and she's gonna choose Destro over. She's gonna yeah. I like that. There's a lot of sides to be played. I like that a lot. But yeah, so that's our comic books for this week. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Happy birthday, AL. It's her birthday. She's gonna have a Fudgy the Whale. She's having fajitas and then a Fudgy the Whale Cavell ice cream cake. God bless you. Enjoy that cake. I love it. And that's it. That's all we have for today. Join us again on Wednesday, 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern, where we talk about this week's upcoming previews. It's New Comic Book Day on every Wednesday, and that's when I go to my local comic book shop to pick up my pull list, to see anything else that's on the shelf that interests me, and to get my supplies. I get my bags, I get my boards, I get my boxes at my local comic book shop. They are brick and mortar mom and pop shops. They are independent bookstores, and they need our patronage. Seriously, we're in a symbiotic relationship, such as with the Gungan and the Nabu. You know, that's what they said in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And I mean, we need to get out of their houses. We need to get back to our stores and buy our supplies at our local comic book shops. You need bags, you need boards, and you might need some boxes too. So next time you're at your comic book shop, be like, hey, and just make sure that they match. Your boards match your bags, your poly bags. And if they're Silver Age boards, you got to get Silver Age bags. You know what I mean? There you go. Live and learn. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye. Thank you.